It's Monday, June 12th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. First up, we're going to actually chat with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown. She's going to talk to us a little more in depth about the proposal to alter school start times. We'll then meet Lori Colombo. She's going to tell us all about an upcoming tribute concert to her father, Lou Colombo. And finally, we'll chat with and actually, we'll learn more about career opportunities for adults interested in returning to school with Cape Cod Community College advisor Don Harney. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's go ahead and get a look at today's top headlines. Residents will have another chance to weigh in on a proposal to alter school start times. The school committee will host a third community forum next Monday. Under the proposal, it would move start times. High school would begin at 8:15 a.m., elementary schools would begin at 9 a.m., and intermediate school students would begin at 7:20 a.m. The community forum will be held next Monday, June 19th at 9:30 in the morning at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. We're actually going to learn more about that proposal when we chat with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown, in just a few moments. Legislators on Beacon Hill want to hear from you on a proposal to tax short-term rentals. The Joint Committee on Financial Services will host a hearing on the proposal today, Monday, June 12th, from 3 to 6 right here in Barnstable Town Hall. That meeting will be held in the Town Hall hearing room and is open to everyone. Well, are you in the market for a job? The town of Barnstable is a great place to work, and there are a number of seasonal and year-round job postings available right now. You can apply online. To learn more, you can visit the town of Barnstable's website and click through to the employment section. Well, it's time for residents to renew transfer station stickers and free recycling stickers. A transfer station sticker will cost residents $240 for one vehicle and $25 for a second vehicle. The new stickers are now on sale at the transfer station office. Make sure when you go to bring a copy of your valid vehicle registration with you. The transfer station office is open 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Well, up next, our conversation with Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo-Brown. So Meg, thank you so much for joining us today. So much happening with the school committee. Want to talk a little bit about the proposal to alter school start times a bit. The school committee held 2 public forums recently to get some feedback from individuals in the community. Those were really well attended. And I think you're also taking comments via email. So talk to me a little bit about the process and where we are now.
Right, so we've had 2 public forums. We're actually going to have a third to be held Monday, June 19th at HYCC at 9:30 in the morning. This is hot off the press, so we'll get word out to our parents that if they weren't able to attend the 2 public forums, either of the 2 public forums that we had, which were in the evening at 6 o'clock, but we're trying to be responsive to parents who have said, you know, I couldn't make it then, could you offer something during the school day? So we'll do that. But the month of June is really to collect feedback on the recommendations that the school start time committee made to the school committee. School committee has not had any discussions on it. They've not entertained those recommendations. We decided we'd chunk it out in 2 phases, have a listening phase, which we're in now. So let's have a community conversation. Let's hear what parents are saying about the recommendations. And the recommendations involve keeping the start time the same for our K-3 schools, moving the high school start time to later, because that's what the research says. I think the most controversial of the recommendations is creating 2 4th through 7th grade schools in the town. And the parents that have come out, you know, the vocal parents that we've heard said, please don't create those grade spans for us. We like the model that exists. Unfortunately, we have to stay in a 3-tier bus model for, you know, really budgetary purposes, which means someone has to start at 7:20 in the morning. So this is the great debate. Who starts at 7:20 in the morning? As you know, our high school students go at 7:20 in the morning. Research tells us that's not in their best interest. So given, you know, the intermediate school, the BUE or the K3, which one of the, you know, who goes at 7:20?
Right, a tough decision. I found it so interesting too. I watched the school committee. Chris Joyce, of course, gave an update on the school start time committee, and he really reiterated exactly what you're saying, which is not going to be a rushed issue.
Right, not at all.
This is nothing that's happening in the near future. This is really a discussion stage, and like you said, they haven't officially discussed it.
Right.
At school committee, other than getting an update from that subcommittee.
Exactly.
So it's a process.
Yes, very much so, and we'll spend the rest of June collecting community feedback. If any of your viewers want to submit things, our address is schoolstarttime@barnstable.k12.ma.us.
Wonderful.
So we're happy to take that feedback. We'll collect all the feedback both from the forums and email and submit that to the school committee and the school start time committee so that they can, begin the discussion. But this is a long process, and as you said, we're not going to rush to any sort of decision. We want to hear what the community has to say about it.
Speaking about school start time, I think an RFP that was posted on the town's website caused some parents to be a little bit alarmed. I think the RFP is for after-school care.
Right.
And I think they were under the impression, or some individuals were under the impression, that this was related to school start time. This actually isn't related to school start time, and this is more to deal with an issue where more parents need after-school care.
That's right. We have after-school, before and after-school care at our K through 3 buildings as well as the 4-5 building. Some of our schools have wait lists, and at BUE, Barnstable United Elementary, we can only serve 80 students. So parents actually have to enter a lottery to determine whether they can have after-school care at BUE.
Do you know how many students, I hate to put you on the spot with these numbers, but do you have any estimate on how many students go to BUES?
Oh yeah, so there's over 800 students.
So there are only 80 spots.
Right.
In the after-school care, and so many parents work.
Exactly.
It's really a challenge. Why is there such a small number of students that are able to be served in that
It's really
program?
how we can staff the program. So we wanted to explore what our options were, and the way to do that in a very legal and transparent manner is to put out a request for proposals, an RFP, and have companies submit a proposal to us so that we can take a look at it. Now, what I've said to parents who are concerned is we're just going to take this one step at a time. It could be a scenario where we just keep doing what we're doing, or perhaps we expand, we use an outside company for one school, a few schools, all schools. I mean, who knows? We're just in the exploration stage. So the proposals were submitted. The closing date was May 24th. We received proposals from 3 companies. Now we're putting together an evaluation committee that will review those proposals based on a matrix in terms of how did the companies respond to our request. After that evaluation committee does that work, they'll open up the cost proposals, because you open up costs separate from programmatic. And then we'll see if there's a recommendation to be made. But again, just like school start time, we're not going to rush into a decision. We want to see what the recommendation is of the 3 that were submitted, and then do some work with our schools in terms of, does this make sense for your school site?
Right. I think it's so hard too to even think about the possibility of expanding that program when you have no idea what the costs would be or what the programs would be like. So, it is just at this point an information phase.
Right. And I feel like we're doing our due diligence to find out what our options are. Some parents have contacted me and say, no, we're hearing that we're going to have to pay double the price. We don't know that yet. We haven't opened up the cost proposals that came in with the programmatic pieces. So we just would want folks to be patient with us. We have, everybody's best interest in mind, and we're going to proceed accordingly.
Great, and of course, we'll definitely check back in with you on that in the near future. I want to talk to you too. We both attended a really great event this week. It was so lovely at the Barnstable Senior Center. The Barnstable Senior Center and the class of 2020 actually, I think the class of 2020 decided to take on the Barnstable Senior Center as a project for them. So this was a really great event. What was it like for you attending?
It was great to see our students so engaged, to be involved in an intergenerational initiative, and one that our students selected, I think really sets the bars for classes to come, because it's a significant activity and initiative. our students have a lot to learn from our seniors, and I think our seniors enjoy learning from our students. So it was great to see those connections yesterday. It was so great to know that our oldest town resident is 104 years old.
Isn't that wonderful?
Don't you want to know what she's doing to be able to have that kind of longevity? I think that's terrific.
And such a unique experience, I think, for the students to talk to these people about what their life was like many, many years ago when they were growing up. So everyone, and it was great to see the smiles and everyone enjoying each other's company and such a wonderful event.
And our choir did an amazing job with their 3 songs. I'm just so impressed with them. So it's great to see.
Lots of positive things happening in Barnstable Public Schools.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Meg, for dropping by today, talking to us about all the most important issues. We really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Our guest today, Superintendent of Schools, Meg Mayo Brown. So Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. Very excited to talk about a tribute concert to your father. But before we talk about the concert, I want to talk a little bit about your dad. Lou Colombo, such a renowned jazz musician, really nationally renowned jazz musician. So tell us a little bit about your dad.
Oh my gosh. Dad was just an all-encompassing kind of a figure. He not only was such a natural musician, and you talk to anyone that knows anything about music, and his ear was just stunning. His ability to just play in all forums, in all kinds of music, jazz, classical included. But he was just a fun-loving, very open-hearted person that was very approachable, very accessible. So my experience in getting to hear people's stories and memories and what people have shared with me, because I actually work where Dad was featured for about 30 years at the Roadhouse Cafe, stories abound with just delight of how he remembered people's favorite songs. He had played generations of weddings, bar mitzvahs, everything. So he was all around. He was the kind of person that you would want to be with, that he was fun-loving, very giving of his time, of his musical mastery, everything. He was just a lot of fun.
And when you're talking about him giving back, I have heard so many stories about how he was really involved with the young people in our community and really helping them along in their music careers and encouraging them to continue in music.
Sarah, there are so many people locally, I can't even begin, people that he mentored that are prominent now and have been touched by his mentorship. And so that was a big part of what Dad did. He could recognize when there was a spark of love or talent in someone very young and bring them up, you know, to the bandstand, to be part of a group, to see how they did and how they would shine. So he was very big into that, wherever he went, you know, whether it was into an assisted living place unannounced, going from room to room with his little pocket trumpet, just playing songs to the folks there, or out at the Yarmouth dump, believe it of all places. He would bring his trumpet and serenade people, and the memories just are everywhere you go, literally, whether it's at Stop and Shop or the local cobbler. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's that kind of an experience for me, and I'm sure my other brothers and sisters as well.
Well, and so many people in our community are lucky to have benefited from that passion that he had.
Absolutely.
You know, and you actually want to continue that mission.
That's right, Sarah.
You want to continue to reach out to the young people in our community through a foundation. Talk to me about the Lou Colombo Music Fund.
Yeah, when Dad passed, you know, my brother David, the owner of Roadhouse, you know, he thought it a good idea to be affiliated with a foundation that was a nonprofit that would help us for future grow funds and funding for music education, which is so critical right now to address on Cape Cod. So we established that, and this was actually the first tribute that has come up since the time of that establishing of that fund. Since then, Dennis Yarmouth Regional High School just last year received funding for private mentorship and lessons of their young aspiring instrumentalist vocalists with local professionals and teachers. They wouldn't otherwise have been able to afford that private one-on-one instruction, which has allowed them, these students, to learn about their style. Being one-on-one with a professional helps them really zero in on what they need to work on, improve their sense of confidence. So that has been incredibly beneficial to these students. So this is an open forum for all schools all over the Cape to be able to have more funding for the specific needs of their music students.
Right, because we know music can be very expensive to participate. Instruments are expensive, lessons are expensive.
That's right.
It all adds up, and so it would be terrible for a child not to be able to participate in music if they just didn't have the funds.
That's right.
So awesome that you have founded this charity to really help increase funds for that.
Thank you so much. It just leads the way for other schools to get involved and want to grow it in whatever way, whatever creative way that they think possible for their school, which is just, we're open to that. It's fabulous.
Wonderful. Well, I want to talk too, before I let you go, we got to talk about the tribute concert, because there is a tribute concert coming up, a tribute to Lou Colombo. This is going to be held Tuesday, June 13th at Barnstable High School. Correct. Talk to me about how this concert came about.
Well, you know, it was last year, 1 year ago, when I got an email from a young student that was, I think, the president of the Triumph Honor Music Society at Barnstable High School. And Isabel had already gotten a date in August of last summer and had gone forward to a point for the planning of this. And when I heard about it, I just was so curious as to what drove her and what motivated her to want to do this. So I never actually got to meet her, and I know that I will be able to meet her at the tribute. But what happened was there was a group of students who wanted to be a part of a greater thing for their society and wanted to do something. So they chose this tribute for my father. And the timing wasn't quite right. I thought in June is better, before that July 4 crunch, before that summer season
really
craziness.
Takes full swing.
And so we decided with Barnstable High School on board to do it on the 13th of June, which seemed a good day of the week. And that way we can bring a lot of people on board. And this features some outstanding musicians, vocalists that have worked with Dad over the years, over the decades. Everyone from the Roadhouse Jazz Band to the very famous Grace Sargent, Marshall Wood, Donna Byrne, who are with the Tony Bennett Band currently, have been for a long time. The only grandchild of my dad, who is a great French horn player, and he's got a master's from NEC. He'll be performing along with those people that have been mentored from Dad, Barry and Judy DeRossi, who have a music school, very active in New Bedford. Our local Kareem Sanjaki, everyone knows the wonder and beauty of Kareem and his good things that he does for the community. And as well, we've got, who else? Other than Ty Newcomb in the Cape Cod Conservatory Jazz Band, which will be a very exciting band, and some others that are going to be here present. Steve Ahern, great trumpetist, trombonist, Dan Fox. We want to have as many great people that have been affiliated with Dad, over the years as possible.
Well, when you're listing the names of the people that are going to be at this concert, it sounds so amazing, and what a great night to witness some really cool music. The live music, there's nothing better than live music. And I was looking down at the sheet to find out how much tickets are. Because as you're talking, I'm like, this is going to be a really great show.
Yes, it will.
This must be a very expensive show. I looked down. You're charging $10 for tickets. So this is a really awesome opportunity for our community to have a great night out, really enjoy some fabulous live music, and at the same time know they're doing something good
Definitely,
to help
Sarah.
local young musicians here on the Cape.
Well, this is the bottom of it all. You know, really, the main theme of it is music is the heartbeat of life, which I believe really encapsulated Dad's whole feeling about music. It was his life. And for a lot of students, yet possibly very unknown to us, there are those students out there, those potential aspiring musicians that have yet to discover that spark of what drives them and what could be their passion for life. So it is important to look at music education as being a vehicle, for that, for a lot of students that may otherwise not have the opportunity. And there could be another Lou Colombo out there somewhere, Sarah. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Dad was a prodigy. He was really very rare in what he did and who he was. And someone out there has got to be out there that is similar to Dad, I believe. And so with music education, you're more likely to find it, and the possibility for that.
Well, what a passionate mission and a goal you have. Thank you so
you.
much for joining us, telling us everything. I so enjoyed learning about your father and learning about the tribute to Lou Colombo. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
You as well. Thank you so much. My guest today, of course, is Lori Colombo. She is also a vocalist in her own right. And so I just Joining me now live on the phone, we have Dawn Harney. She is an adult learner advisor at Cape Cod Community College. Dawn, so many times I think people, maybe they go through school, maybe they decide not to finish school, but then later in life they decide, this is something I really need to do, maybe to advance in their current career or switch careers. So Cape Cod Community College is a great place for the adult learner.
It is a great place, and we have had a department devoted specifically to our adult learners for probably about 10 years now. We are actually two part-time adult learners, myself and my colleague Linda Willoughby. We are there 3 days a week, morning, afternoon, and evening, to make it easier for our adult learners to come back to school. And our primary goal is to support those who are not what we call our traditional students. Those who are 17 or 18 coming right out of high school. Many are those who have been in the workforce, perhaps have raised a family, perhaps spent time serving in the military, or maybe pursued higher ed right out of high school, dropped it, went into the workforce, and have decided now's the time to come back.
Well, and I think, too, you never really know when you're just coming out of high school. Sometimes you aren't really sure. You may have an idea, or you may think you know what you want to do, and then reality sets in, and you think, maybe this isn't the right field for me. So if someone is interested in maybe making a change or taking that next step, what kind of services does your department offer?
We provide sort of a whole range of services. The first thing that we offer is an adult learner information session. It occurs once a month. My colleague Linda Willoughby gathers people together for probably about an hour, perhaps an hour and a half, to review all of the college certificates and degree programs that we offer. She also talks about the admissions process and the financial aid process. So it makes it pretty easy for students in the community to come in, to sit down, to learn about how they might get started with Cape Cod Community College.
So important, I think, for individuals to understand that no matter what age they are, they can apply to get financial aid. And good to know that you guys are there to help walk through that, because that can be a pretty complex process.
It can. Not only can they apply for financial aid, and a nice note for people is if you have not earned a bachelor's degree, there's a good chance you may be eligible for federal and state monies, but also specifically in our office, one of my responsibilities is to research and maintain a list of scholarships aimed directly at adult learners. And actually, this week I'll be undertaking that process again. And I'd say I probably have a list of about 30 scholarships that they can apply for. All depends on the criteria, but we do maintain a separate list specifically for our adult learners.
Great. Well, if anyone's watching right now and thinking, you know, this is just what I needed to hear, I need to take that next step, I've been thinking about it, how can they contact you?
One of two ways. What's nice is we actually have an adult learners information session coming up this Wednesday evening, June 14th at 6 p.m. And if you'd like to join my colleague Linda and some other folks there that evening on our campus, all you have to do is call our advising office at 774-330-4318. If you can't make it, you can certainly schedule an appointment directly with Linda or myself to come in and talk about your specific needs. And our numbers are 774-330-4807. That's mine, and Linda's is 774-330-4354. Our office, again, is open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from probably about 10 in the morning until 7 at night. So you're pretty sure to find one of us there on one of those days.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Dawn, for chatting with us this morning and telling us everything we need to know about adult learning and the services that you guys have available at Cape Cod Community College. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting us in this morning, Sarah.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Our guest today was Dawn Harney. She is the Adult Services Advisor at Cape Cod Community College. Let's go ahead and find out what meetings are happening this week. Well, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another great show for you. On tomorrow's show, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. We'll check in with DPW Director Dan Santos and so much more. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mann.